So there are 10 breaks, which, I may or may not have messed up on. So, yeah. I was like, wow, these are not selling. I don't I don't know why they're not selling. So I posted to Twitter something like I've been gone too long or whatever. And uh, Tahiti Cutie was like, well, maybe it has something to do with the price. And I was like, huh? Because, people say that sometimes. They're like, oh, I just don't like the price. So I was like, well, let me look, right? I looked. Oh, man. It was supposed to be, I guess, 4601. So, and, I could have cobbled together the money, but I was like, if I put a whole nother first Bowman in, that would definitely be it, because it would. There was 570 missing, and a first Bowman's like $750. So it ended up costing me almost $200 10 times, about just under 2 grand. But you know what? There's a real good way to fix that. Don't screw up. So, I don't have anybody to blame but myself. I'm rusty, that's all. Just a little rusty. No big deal. K9, what's happening? Well, George, you can always just watch the videos tomorrow. We'll have videos. What the gosh? It's almost 1 in the morning. What the hell am I doing? I'm gonna be here till morning, bro. Oh my gosh, that's what I get though. That's what you screw up, and that's what happens. Oh well. The trip was good. The Grand Canyon was amazing. I hated Vegas. Hated it. I hated the hotels. Um, I hated the strip. I don't like crowds, so I I know why I wanted to stay in the rooms. Like we stayed. I'll tell you where we stayed. We stayed in Caesar's Palace, and we stayed in MGM, right? And then we stayed in the Indian reservation. The Caesar's Palace and MGM, they were like, the people working there were like, these are the lowest crowds we've had. These are the lowest crowds we've had, right? But it did not feel like they were the lowest crowds they've had. To me, it was like it was the worst thing ever. I mean, it was terrible. So it was so crowded. It was wall to wall people. I hated it. Everywhere smelled like weed. Now look, I'm from Tampa, all right, so it smells like weed everywhere I go, and I don't usually mind. It's not a big deal to me, but man, you can't go anywhere in Vegas and it doesn't smell like weed. I mean, the hotel, our rental car smelled like weed. The hotels smelled like weed. Even the Indian reservation smelled like weed. It was permeating everything. And then the crowds. The crowds were terrible. It was horrible. I hated it. We were in the elevator and some drunk guy he was talking about what the kids, because kids all wear. I always dress the kids in the same thing. I always dress them in bright colors and they all wear the same thing so I can pick them out. I want to be able to know exactly where they are. So I always dress them, and they were wearing orange. They were wearing orange that day. And this guy, and I don't know what he meant. I don't really care, but he reached over and he touched one of them. And I wasn't trying to be that guy, but I hit him. And he just, I don't know, I just didn't, he he touched one of my kids, and he only touched him on the shoulder. He wasn't even. I don't know. He touched my kid, and I hit him, right? And so that was a situation, that happened, and I was like, great, so I don't know. It was one of those things. But man, the Grand Canyon. Oh my gosh, that was so nice. That was really, really nice. So we stayed at Caesar's Palace. We when we went in, we flew into Vegas, obviously. And I was like, well, hell, we're gonna be in Vegas. Let's stay in some of the famous hotels while we're there. The night before, the night we get there, and the night we leave. Really, is all I wanted to do. So we stayed at Caesar's, and I hated it. I hated it really bad. And then we went to the Indian reservation. So the problem with the Indian reservation, we were at this lodge, and the lodge had, so when you walk in, right, and you go to register, right, and you're like, yeah, I have a reservation. Well, they have these giant jars of earplugs out, like a candy jar, but it's full of earplugs, and they're everywhere. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. I just thought maybe they were selling earplugs. I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't think anything of it, really. I just thought it was odd. So the first night, I understood the first night about the earplugs, because the train goes through like every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, the train goes through, and it is so loud. So now I understand the earplugs. So we stayed there the first night, and we went whitewater river rafting on the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, and it was different because the boats, there were boats, not rafts. The boats, they were like pontoon boats, and they had engines. Instead of, I'm thinking, we're gonna have guides paddling, but instead it was just, a dude with a 40 a 40 back there, and just driving us through the rapids in the Colorado River. So that's not what I was expecting, but it's still pretty nice. And then the next day we took a helicopter through the Grand Canyon, and then took another boat ride, but this one no rapids, and then a helicopter ride back. And that, guys, that was worth the price of admission. I mean, I must have spent nearly $20,000 on this vacation. Probably at least 15, because I just whatever, when I'm there. All right, let me save your video, and I'll clean it up for you.